предоставя различни събития, които могат да бъдат как на техническа, така и на soft skills тематика. Също така организираме и работилници, свързани с различни програмни езици или отново с насърчаване на усъвършенстване на някои наши умения. Днес сме избрали да завършим месеца и да започнем като цяло годината с събитие на soft skill тематика, като за тази цел сме поканили една много вдъхновяваща дама от EPAM България. Това е Мария Зharova, която сега след малко ще дам нейната дума. Може да видите само какъв сетъп са направили колегите от EPAM. Надяваме се да ви бъде полезно, интересно. Тя е подготвила така доста интерактивно събитие, макар онлайн от вкъщи. Така че се надявам да се престрашите и да се включвате активно в дискусиите. Разбира се, ако имате въпроси или искате да попитате нещо Мария междувременно, може да използвате чата, като тя ще прецени дали да отговори в момента на вашия въпрос или да запази някакво време в края на събитието. Пожелавам ви приятно събитие и разбира се, отново ви благодаря за присъствието и ви стимулирам да бъдете активни в дискусионната част. Мария, давам онлайн сцената на теб.
Мила Василена, хиляди благодарности за топлите думи. Наистина за мен е огромно удоволствие, голяма чест да съм така ваш гост-лектор на това хубаво събитие. Здравейте, мили дами, толкова красиви лица виждам. Всъщност не само дами и господа, здравейте и вие. Искам да попитам първо някой, има ли който не разбира български? Is there someone who doesn't understand or doesn't speak Bulgarian? Please raise your hand or give us any kind of indication.
Yes, me. I don't speak Bulgarian. So,
okay.
Yes. Same.
Okay. Then we'll go in English. I'm a little bit nervous because of this, because I didn't practice this one in English. But if I make some mistakes, please excuse me. It's we'll just try and see how it goes.
But just for the other one, I'm not so sure that they are so comfortable if you speak in English also. So don't.
Well, let's try it. I'm very sure that everything will be all right. Okay, and also one other thing, if you have any kind of questions, I will be more than happy to answer them, but I will try to do so after the presentation, so you can leave any kind of comments or anything else in the chat, and additionally, we'll take a few minutes afterwards to answer anything that comes to your mind. So let's go ahead with the presentation. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So success skills you need to step up your career. This is actually a couple of words about me in the start. I work this, and I work here at EPAM. It's a software development company. And I do it for this, or at least I hope that this is the amount I'm getting. And I'm also doing it for this. Of course, I love my job. And I'm also a happy married wife and a proud boy mom. This is my son, Alex. Well, at least most of the time. This is the other kind of reality that I'm facing each day. So today we'll be speaking about this. It's actually success and the skills you need to achieve it. Of course, success can vary, and of course, for me, success doesn't mean the same thing that it does to you. For this presentation, I'm assuming that we are going to be talking about success in your workspace and in your work. And to start, we'll be playing a short game. Hopefully everything will work out from a technical point of view. Let's see. We'll be dividing you for this game. The game is called Red and Black. It looks complicated, but it's very, very simple. The concept is that we have two teams. You'll be separated in two breakout rooms, Team 1 and Team 2 in breakout room 1 and breakout room 2. The concept is that we'll have 6 rounds. In the first round, you will vote. You can all vote for either black or you can vote for red. You have two choices, black or red. I'll be coming by and asking you what you have voted for. Firstly, with team 1, you can vote either black or you can vote either red. And secondly, with the team 2, you can vote, of course, either black or red. If you vote black, if the two teams vote with black, you each get 3 points. If one of you votes black and the other one red, the red team will get 5 points and the black -5. So be careful with this one. And of course, the other way around, it's the same. And if both teams say red, you will get each -3 points. So another thing that is special is that in round 3 and in round 6, we'll be giving more points. Everything you get will be multiplied by 2 in the 3rd round and by 3 in the 6th round. So once again, be careful if you're making risks. Okay, let's try. Let's try dividing you into 2 groups. Let me see how this works out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, it's giving me the option to only do it manually, so please be patient and bear with me. Okay. Ako ще ме поканили? Hello there. So, is everybody back? Let me check. So, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Well, thank you very much for participating in this game. It was actually supposed to be much shorter, but the interesting discussions which we had were actually worth the wait. So the purpose of the game was actually to collect the most points, but no one said you were supposed to do it in two teams. The big thing about this game is that the optimal results and the most points which you have amassed is actually a result of collaboration, and that everybody votes with black no matter what. So it's actually a thing that if you're participating in a team building event, for example, most psychologists give you this game to, how should I put it, to show you that collaboration is key. And it's actually a very, very important thing. Sometimes we put ourselves in this mindset that we are supposed to compete with someone, or someone from our team or someone from a different team. And it's actually not always the decision to move forward. Sometimes it's best to collaborate And actually, in most cases, the entire thing about having competition, it's not, sometimes it's healthy, yes, but in the most cases, it's something that is destructive. And in most cases, it's bad for the career. If you're trying to compete with someone, it's bad for the team. And in the end, it's probably also bad for the company. So moving forward from this game on, it's the win-win situation. As you can see, it's always best to collaborate, and it's always best to have different kind of help and different kind of experiences with the other members. I can see Ivan, who is raising their hand.
Yes, I just want to mention that for this game, because I'm aware of how it works and what's the benefit, always collaborating is not the optimal solution, but copying their previous round decision is the optimal one. Actually, second most optimal.
It's the second most optimal behind collaborating, because if you collaborate, then we'll amass the biggest amount possible as two teams, not in separate different teams. But you are correct. The second best strategy, if you are supposed to win as separate teams, is this one. So let's move on with the first success skills that I want to share with you. It's actually called the survival of the friendliest. I have been incredibly lucky to come across this book, which is called Survival of the Friendliest. It's actually brand new. It was issued last year in the 2020. It's created by Brian Harry and Vanessa Woods, who are actually TED Talks speakers, and their talks, actually, they do have several. They have been amazing, at least for me, and their revelation. So they have been talking about a very interesting theory, mainly Charles Darwin, survival of the fittest. And they have been exploring that actually what he meant was not the survival of the strongest and the most, how should I put it, the most physically capable, but the fittest to fit in the society. Because it's actually societies who have better collaboration, societies who help each other, and societies who are taking care of their members are actually the ones who go forward, and the ones who really make a great civilization, and the ones who are actually responsible for the birth of the modern human being. It is actually, they have been given this large scale example, but it's also true in many terms, in many situations in our daily life. If I have to be frank with you, sometimes you have to work with assholes, and that is clear. On the other hand, it's something that is a dying trend. If you have a colleague who is very good at technology and some kind of superstar in terms of what their capabilities purely in, for example, coding or some other skill, and they are tolerated by the management just because of their skills, it's not good for the team, and it's sometimes driving other people from the team to quit it. So it is a dying trend, and in most cases, people try not to tolerate this behavior. And it's something very important, and it's actually a very big, and in my opinion at least, a very useful trend. And if we have to be honest, people like to work with people they like, just purely as human beings. And they also like to promote people who they like, just as human beings. So we come to the second point of this skill, and it's asking for and accepting help. It is something very trivial. On the other hand, I have to admit that in my career, I have been struggling with it, and so I decided to mention it in this presentation. If this is especially true if you are at a new workplace. Don't try to do everything by yourself, and don't take all the responsibility. And if you know that you don't know something, it's totally okay to ask your teammates. In this way, they do feel included, appreciated, and it's actually the best way to move forward. And in this case, they feel valued and appreciated that you are taking into account their opinion. And also, when faced with any kind of issue, try to figure a way out before you present it to the others. Of course, when you run into a problem, it's very tempting to just simply panic and press the alarm button and say, for example, hey, manager, we do have this problem. How can we find a solution? On the other hand, it's always useful to take a breather and to take a few minutes or at least 5 minutes or 10, and if it's not an urgent matter, a few hours even, and to try to figure out a possible solution by yourself. It is always very useful because it shows that you are ready to take responsibility, that you are a thinking person and you can do, and you basically your manager and your team can count on you, and that you are creative in trying to not only to panic basically, but also to find a resolution and to really contribute to the team. And also an important thing, but very much neglected, at least in my opinion, is go that extra mile. It's as they say, it's never crowded. So the concept is that if you can do something better and if you can contribute to a task being resolved better than it is, it's always useful to do so, mainly because it shows that you have the skills and you have the motivation, and it's really a nice thing. And it's not even always about the task that we're facing at our workplaces. It's sometimes in your attitude towards the others. And even when, for example, you have made something nice to eat, or if you have been somewhere on vacation and if you bring something small to the team, it always leaves a great impression, and it also contributes to the wonderful atmosphere and to the friendly to the friendly feeling that we're all aiming for in our work. So another thing which is important, unfortunately, not always you have the luxury of working with people who you like. It's totally possible that you just don't click with someone you work with. So you have to make a clear process. The concept is that if you have a very good relationship with someone at your work, it's totally okay for you to just be how should I put it, to resolve issues by simply talking with the person and to be friendly and to sometimes not have a clear path of how you're resolving things. But if you do have a problem with someone, it's important to work on that. So it has to be, at least from my experience, you have to work on the part that's hard and not the part that's easy. So if you have someone you don't click with well, you have to have a very clear process to know if you're moving along a task. You have to have option one, a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and you have to know what the other person is contributing and also what you're contributing. It's especially true if your manager is supervising this work, and you have to present it to him or her afterwards. Okay, moving along to another topic. Do accomplishments speak for themselves? It was a very interesting topic for me, and I have been fortunate enough to participate in Google's I'm Remarkable workshops, and I have taken the liberty of asking this question to you, and I would be very grateful if you could say, if you think that accomplishments speak for themselves, please raise your hand. It's actually very easy here in the chat. Yeah. I can see that Ivan has already answered. Do you think that accomplishments speak for themselves?
Is this a question?
Jane as well.
Okay.
It is.
It should speak. It speaks, and depend on the accomplishment. If you can measure it, actually measure it with some objective measurement, not something that is subjective. it speaks for itself. But if you introduce noise with some opinion or something that is subjective and it's varying, uh, it's not so clear. But in generally speaking, it should speak for itself.
I totally agree with Ivan. It's actually the way that most of us would answer this question if. Pardon. So I totally agree with Ivan. This is totally the question I would answer in the same way if I had been given it before I entered the workshop. It is a very interesting thing. Most of us have been raised to believe this and to think that the accomplishments really do speak for themselves. But sometimes it's the little accomplishments. For example, if you have run a 5-kilometer race, for example, or if you have done something that is totally not related to work.
I think it's about the assumptions that we make given these accomplishments.
I also believe that, yes, it's, it's actually it has been very difficult for me to share some of my accomplishments because I don't really consider them accomplishments. For example, not last year, but a few years ago when I started running, I was very happy and pleased that I have managed to run 4 kilometers at a time. And at the same time, I knew, for example, that my husband is a marathon runner. And how do I go to him and say, come on, I've run 4 kilometers when I know that he has done 42. So it's really a matter of perspective. But we are coming to the second success skill, at least in my opinion, and that is self-presentation. It is about your perception about self-presentation. For example, I would very much like to give you an example with a good friend of mine who is actually here today. Thank you, Dori, for being there. So it was very curious to me that we participated in a running race together as a company from EPAM Systems, Bulgaria. And I'm very proud to say that she won the first place there for a 5-kilometer run. And I was so proud of her, and actually all the people who were there were proud of her from our team. But at the end, when we decided to just relax after the race, we met the person who was her friend, and she asked, "What did you do today?" And she said, "Oh, I participated in this race." Come on. Brag a bit. If you just won a race, come on, say it. So I have another close friend of mine who won a scholarship from a very prestigious university. And it was a struggle for her to get there, and it was a marvelous achievement on her part. On the other hand, she didn't share it with anyone. So, for example, her closest relatives even didn't know that. And they, coming to the point, actually, because I don't want to explain it too long, when you share your achievement, firstly, you can inspire someone else to achieve the same thing that you already did. And secondly, it's a very important thing for the team, because if they know your strong sides, if they know, for example, that you're a runner, or that you're working on another coding language, let's say, or if you can bring something to the team, it's always good to know. But isn't it bragging? I suppose it is. But on the other hand, if you do have the results, and if you have objective results, and you can say, come on, I've done this, it is worth saying. And self-promotion matters, and it's actually something that is important. Otherwise, you risk falling behind your colleagues who do say so, and do know that, how should I put it, that they do share their achievements, and they promote themselves. As you know, communication is key. I can see that we have a raised hand.
Okay, sorry for interrupting you again, but just to mention about the running part before. If you are a new runner and you compare to your husband who runs marathons, it's like comparing apple to oranges. It's not the objective measurement. You see, you should
Exactly.
compare to yourself. Yeah, and that's why I mentioned that it speaks for itself. Achievement speaks for itself if it have objective measurement, and this one is not objective.
It
Yeah,
is exactly. Yeah, Ivan, I absolutely agree with you. That has been, for example, my issue with sharing, because I know that my criteria is a totally different one. As a new runner, 4 kilometers is wow, come on, that's an achievement. But if you share this to a person who is a regular runner and you tell them, okay, 4 kilometers, they would be like, why are you even saying that? And this is a simple example, but it could be applied to many, many other areas of life. And sometimes it's not running, sometimes it's a work skill. And if you're a beginner, you may be hesitant to share something with your senior, which is an achievement. On the other hand, it would be very nice for them to know that you have accomplished something, and they can help you find your role into your team easier, and help you integrate and help you work on tasks which are relevant to your skills. So also what I wanted to share with you in this success skill is that advocacy matters, because it's not always about, I say this from a personal example, from my personal experience, is that most of us have been raised to believe that if you're sharing an achievement, it's bragging and just don't do it. But sometimes when you see that someone has achieved something, it's nice to just pat them on the back and say, come on, you have achieved something, and to share with the team, because this way you really are also contributing to this friendly atmosphere which we spoke about in the previous success skill, the survival of the friendliest. So I wanted to share with you something else. I have, in the recent months, I have been doing calibration talks. I have been included to calibration talks for my colleagues who want to move forward with their career. So we are having these skill assessment sessions, and it is always surprising to me and always a wonderful thing to see how many things our colleagues have achieved, and their ambition and their desire to move forward. And it's been amazing to me to see that there is always one big difference between the specialists who make the assessment and are recommended to move forward and to step up their career, and to the others who don't. And it's also the fastest way to advance your career and learn new useful skills. On the other hand, in my opinion, it has been one of the most neglected skills. And this is the third success skill, and it's mentoring. I'm not going to go into detail, as you're able to read the slide by yourself. It's an official review, a brand new one from January 2021 by the Harvard Business Review. Let me share in short that there is an amazing difference between the people who have a mentor and between the ones who don't. The ones who have a mentor in much higher percentage achieve their goals, and also they achieve them much faster. I have had 2 mentors, and in my opinion, this is what the mentoring process has looked at. Like for me at least. So what is valuable, and I have given you here 6 steps, is the first step is to define your goals and needs. It's very important to know what you are looking for and which skills you want to advance to in order for you to step up your career and to make the next logical transition in it. For example, you could be struggling with something technical, then you would be looking for a technical mentor. And if you're struggling with, let's say, communication or soft skills, let's put it this way, it's important to look for these qualities in the mentor. The second step would be to imagine the perfect mentor. This person, of course, doesn't exist. It's just a representation of what would be the best case solution for you in the best case scenario. And so you can see and you can choose someone who is coming as close as possible to this one from the many opportunities which you have in your professional life. And when you're searching for mentors, really don't be afraid to shoot for the stars. It's actually, there is no bigger, at least I can't figure out a bigger compliment than someone asking you to be their mentor. It's simply saying that they admire you and they want to be like you and they want to learn for you. So even if it's, for example, the owner of the company, or if it's a manager on a very high level, really don't be afraid to make the ask, because it's up to them to decide if they want to indulge you, and if they have the time for you and they want to share the effort and to be a part of your growth. But it's always a very big compliment. No one would be offended by such a thing, and everyone would be very much flattered. And also, if they do say yes, which is the final goal, please make the meetings as comfortable for the mentor as possible, because they're actually sharing their time, and they're sharing their time away from their kids, for example, or from their significant other, or from their work. So it has to be very much valued. And we're coming to the sixth point. We have to definitely make and track progress, because otherwise it's definitely pointless. If you don't achieve your goals, and if you don't at least try to achieve them and try to advance, there is no sense in taking their time, and also there's no sense in losing your time, basically. So this is the thing I wanted to share about the mentoring process. And it's also at a certain stage of your career, if you're, for example, if you're transitioning in the place of transition between a specialist and between a manager, it's very important not only to be able to be mentored, but also to become a mentor. So the concept is that you have to make the time and to really figure out how you can be of support for your younger or less experienced teammates, and to really bring a contribution to your team. And this is actually, I'm sharing it once again, probably, I hope I'm not getting boring, but it is the biggest thing that has been the deciding factor, at least from the calibration talks and the assessment series that I have been a part of. The people who have been mentored and are mentors always pass the bar, and you can see that, and you can see the time that they have dedicated to this activity, and you can see how motivated and how ambitious they are. So we're coming to the fourth success skill, and it's a totally different one. It's about creativity, and as they say, creativity is intelligence having fun. Well, at EPAM Bulgaria, I have been fortunate enough for working with very, very creative people, and let me share why this is. We have, at least for the marketing department, our marketing department, it has been a challenge to really stand out, because on the Bulgarian market, at least, we have foreigners here. I'm not sure how it is in your countries, but at least in Bulgaria, at the IT sector and the software development sector, there are many companies. There are some even bigger than EPAM. Some have been for more time on the market, some are better recognized, and so on. But on this market, and especially with the COVID situation, because previously we were used to creating monthly events. They were called Tech Talks, and we were enjoying them very much with having a full conference room in our wonderful office. It was a pleasure to host, let me tell you this. It has been very challenging to transition to the new normal, and to having impossible conditions to create a live event. On the other hand, we have been able to overcome these events by creativity. For example, we have been able to switch from standard events to digital ones each and every month, and we have been able to create another format. If possible, I will share this video. Hopefully it goes, you can see it and you can hear it.
Идеята за Driving Conf е доста иновативна, поне аз не бях чувал за подобен формат до сега.
Driving Conf представлява събитие, на което хората идват с собствените си автомобили и от комфорта и безопасността на собствената си кола могат да гледат технически теми на голям екран.
Огромният киноекран позволява на съдържание, свързани с видео или снимки с висока резолюция или обогатена реалност, наистина да изпъкнат. А в същото време прави показания код много по-лесен за разчитане с повече от една перспектива.
Като цялото това нещо е допълнено естествено с пуканки, безалкохолни напитки и така нататък.
One Team е любимата ми инициатива на EPAM последно време. Най-активно участвам в Teams Collaboration and Communities, което е сегмента, в който организираме вътрешни и външни събития за обмяна на знания.
Тяхната идея не е толкова да са сухо предаване на информация за най-последните технологии, колкото един вид knowledge sharing между отделните екипи, които работят по клиентски проекти.
Правили сме и други интересни формати, като 24-часов хакатон на плажа, със съдействието на община Бургас, които бяха така любезни да ни предоставят локацията.
Със сигурност Driving Conf има доста предимства пред останалите формати, като изключим очевидните, като възможността за социално дистанциране и сигурността на собствените автомобили.
Този knowledge sharing е изключително важен, особено и сега за новите колеги, които нямат чак толкова много опит и тези неща не могат да се намерят толкова лесно в интернет.
So, pardon me, actually for our foreigners here and non-Bulgarian speakers, the video was short enough, I hope, so you could bear with it. The concept is that Driving Conf is a special format which we have created especially for the COVID conditions. And the concept is that we have been fortunate enough to have a very big interest in it, and that we could invite people to an open-air cinema. And in this open-air cinema, our guests were able to watch technical presentation on a big screen. And it is always interesting and also gives us the opportunity to work with speakers who are world-renowned and usually wouldn't travel to Bulgaria, and they have provided us with videos, and they have been kind enough to participate remotely and so on. So to sum it up, it is actually something that has set us apart from the competition, and it has been a very big pleasure to host and to create this innovative format. So let's take a few words at the end of the presentation and to see how the success skills went. So the first one was, of course, survival of the friendliest. It's about creating a really friendly atmosphere at work that you can flourish in, and that everybody feels comfortable, and you can work calmly and show the best things that you're capable of doing. And also that self-presentation matters. And if you're good at something, please share it with the team, both to inspire them and also to motivate them, and for others to know that they can count on you on a specific skill to show. So also mentoring, which, as I have shared with you, has been the deciding factor in many assessment sessions that I have been fortunate enough to be a part of. And at last, creativity is intelligence, having fun. It really sets you apart from the competition, from everyone else, and it's also very fun. And it's not only dedicated for a few special people in your office, which are labeled as creative. Everyone can be creative, and even if you pick the most dubbed boring person in your office who you think that have no creative bones in their body, you can always consult with them and come up with just another point of view. So thank you for your attention, and I'm very eager to learn if you have any kind of questions. So, Polly, let me hear it.
Okay, so my main question would be regarding mentors. Like, how do you ask how do you approach a person to be your mentor? Because that's a lot of time for them to dedicate to you, and it's not an easy task. Yeah.
It is. Thank you for the question. It's a very good one. I will share how I did it. I have done it 2 times, and actually with a very high success ratio because they both agreed. So the first time it was another specialist at EPAM Bulgaria, and it was actually our HR lead. She's a very intelligent person, and I have admired her for a long time, and I wanted her to share her skills on several different things, including, for example, assertiveness, including, for example, negotiation skills, conflict resolution, and so on. And she was very kind enough to accept the invitation to be my mentor. It was easier back then because I just went to her office and explained the situation that I really want to move up with my career, and that I feel that I'm lacking in these 3 departments. And I can see that she's much more advanced in these departments than I am. And I also told her that it's very important for my career growth to have a mentor and to be able to share and ask different things. And I think she was, as everybody is, she felt flattered. At least in the best meaning of the word, at least I hope she felt good about it, and she agreed. She was kind enough to spare me at least 1 hour per week, and for us to have separate sessions, they usually were much longer. But I learned a lot from her, and it went pretty good. My second time was digitally, because actually my chosen mentor was in Germany, and it was actually one of my professors. Since I actually finished school, I finished my university. I had, let's not go into details, but during my bachelor's, I had a time I was in Leipzig in Germany, and I actually wrote an email. It was a heartfelt one. I told them how much their lectures have helped me and how much I admire them. And I asked if they would consider having me as a mentee. And they said yes. So both ways are okay. I suppose with the current COVID situation, it would be best to meet digitally and to make the ask digitally. But it's just go to the person digitally or personally and ask them. It is actually, as I said, a very huge compliment. So it's definitely not something insulting to them, and they would feel very good about it, even if they say no. And you have to be prepared that they may say no if they have too little time or they're struggling with something currently, and they can't spare the effort.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Other questions? Okay, so no more questions from your side. It was, I suppose I was very good at explaining everything. Okay, so let's. Oh, thank you so much. I'm reading the comments in the chat because you are great. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So thank you very much. I'll be stopping the recording now.